Have you ever stopped to reflect on the importance of silence? Have you ever thought that learning to be silent could improve the quality of your life, bringing you more peace and clarity? Very often we are overwhelmed by noise, worries, and distractions, and we forget that silence is not empty, but is a space full of wisdom and harmony. In this video, we will discover, thanks to a Zen story and profound Buddhist wisdom, how silence can become our ally to improve our lives on all levels. We will discover together what silence really means and how being silent does not have to mean being silent for its own sake. Through the words of an ancient Japanese monk, we will explore the 7 incredible benefits of silence, from reducing stress to connecting with our deepest essence. If you stay until the end of this video, you will discover a special teaching that will show you how to start bringing silence into your daily life, rediscovering a serenity that perhaps you didn't even know you could achieve. But before continuing, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications to stay updated when we publish new content for your spiritual growth. In a remote valley in Japan, shrouded in mist-covered mountains, stood an ancient temple known as Ryusen. Here lived the monk Genkai, a man of great wisdom and inner peace. The temple was known for its profound silence, a silence that seemed to have the power to heal the soul and free the heart. Every year, pilgrims from all over Japan and even distant lands would make the journey to Ryusen to sit before Genkai, hoping to receive his words of wisdom. One autumn day, a particularly large group had gathered on the temple terrace, overlooking a valley where the wind whispered through the trees and the birds sang sweet melodies. The pilgrims sat in silence, while the monk watched them with a gentle smile. Genkai stood up, positioning himself in the center of the group, and calmly motioned for them to close their eyes and listen to the sounds around them. After a few minutes of peace, he began to speak. "Friends, you have come here looking for answers, for inner peace, perhaps even healing," he said in a calm voice. "But tell me, how many times in your life have you actually found silence?" An elderly man sitting in the front row looked up, expressing his puzzlement. "Master Genkai, I have always thought of silence as something empty, an absence of noise," he replied. "All my life I have been surrounded by the noise of work, worries, children, and now grandchildren. Even when I try to remain silent, my mind does not stop talking." Genkai nodded with an understanding smile. "The silence I speak of is not merely the absence of sound," he explained. "It is an art, a profound experience, a path to our truest essence. Let me show you how silence can transform the life and health of each of us." The pilgrims prepared to listen, fascinated by the idea of discovering the mysteries of silence. Genkai continued, "There are at least 7 reasons why we should learn the art of silence, each of them linked to a profound benefit for the mind, body, and spirit." He sat back down, letting the audience relax and begin to soak in his words. The first reason is that silence helps reduce stress. When we allow ourselves moments of silence, our breathing slows, our muscles relax, and our mind releases tension. Now try taking a deep breath, letting your body free itself of worries. Feel how the sensation inside you changes. The pilgrims closed their eyes and followed his advice, experiencing a moment of peace. Genkai continued, "You see, Silence has the power to bring us back to balance. When we slow down and listen to our breathing, our heart slows and we feel lighter. Even if it seems like just a pause, this silence is like water that restores the thirsty body. Genkai explained how every fiber of our body responds positively to stillness. Silence, he added, is the invisible balm that brings healing even where medicine cannot reach. After a moment, Genkai moved on to the second reason. Silence helps us reconnect with our essence, he said. Often in the frenzy of life, we forget who we really are. Our days are filled with duties, noises, and distractions that distance us from our deepest nature. But when we remain silent, we begin to feel who we really are. It is in silence that our heart speaks. A woman in the group stepped forward, sharing a thought. Master, sometimes I feel like I no longer recognize the person I have become. Yet when I remain silent, I feel a sense of authenticity, as if there were a part of me that knows the truth. Jinkei smiled gently. Exactly. Silence allows us to feel what words often hide. We can recognize our true emotions, perceive our most authentic aspirations without interference. Just as a clean mirror reflects the image without distortion, silence reflects our true essence. And looking around, he concluded, remember, we cannot recognize ourselves in others, but only in the emptiness and peace of ourselves. Jinkai continued, the third reason why we should learn the art of silence is that it allows us to free ourselves from negative thoughts. We are often prisoners of our thoughts, our fears, and our doubts. But in silence, we can observe these thoughts without becoming attached to them. Imagine your thoughts as clouds passing by in the sky. Watch them pass by without judgment, without holding anything back. A young man, his eyes full of curiosity, asked, Master, sometimes my thoughts torment me. I can't chase them away. How can I really observe them without being overwhelmed by them? It's a challenge, Jinkai admitted, but with practice it becomes easier. When we observe our thoughts in silence, we begin to realize that they are impermanent, just like clouds. This helps us to let go of them, rather than being dominated by them. He added, when you begin to observe thoughts from afar, as a spectator, you will find that their force fades. Peace is always there, behind every cloud. The pilgrim seemed more and more absorbed, as if each word Jinkai spoke opened a door to new understanding. The fourth reason for learning silence, he continued, is that it gives us clarity of mind. When the noise of the mind subsides, we see things for what they are, unclouded by emotion or prejudice. It is like looking at the world through a mirror of water that becomes still. Jinkai paused and looked out over the valley, as if to emphasize the value of clarity. One day during a storm, I asked an old fisherman in the village how he remained so calm. He recalled. He said, I can't stop the storm, but I can calmly observe and figure out how to protect myself. Clarity comes from accepting the present without resisting it. Thus, silence teaches us not to react impulsively, but to observe mindfully. The group remained silent, deep in thought, and Jinkai continued, the fifth reason to learn silence is that it makes us more aware of our bodies. Often, we live as if we were separate from our bodies, ignoring the signals it sends us. But when we remain silent, we can listen to it, feel every tension, every pain. This allows us to live in harmony with ourselves. A man who practiced martial arts spoke up, "Yes, master, I can confirm. When I train in silence, I can perceive every movement and connect with my body more deeply." Jinkai nodded in appreciation. Exactly. And that brings us to the sixth reason. Silence helps us communicate better with others. Many of us fill silence with unnecessary words, trying to hide our insecurities or defend ourselves. But when we learn to remain silent, we develop a presence that transcends words and authenticity that others sense. Finally, Jinkai spoke of the seventh reason. Silence is a door to transcendence. When we enter into the deepest silence, we transcend the material world. We connect with something greater, deeper. It is here that we can intuit the divine, the transcendent. It is here that we find ourselves in absolute peace. When Jinkai concluded, the group was immersed in the silence of the evening. Close your eyes, listen to your breathing, and let the silence lead you to peace.